And great to have our good friend Rick Monday with us in the booth. I'll tell you, if Johnny Cash were still alive today, that was very nice.
No, it wasn't. And there's a
I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, but you like the weather too. But it's one of those. It's good to see you guys.
Great to see you, Rick.
Where's this club that we've been hearing about that has difficulty maybe scoring some runs?
Well, it has been a little better here the last couple of weeks after a slow start. And you guys today saw Paul Mahalam at his best as well. He has had 3 really good ones in a row.
What I liked about Mahalam is he just changed his speeds and moved the ball around until he took that line drive off the leg, and then it became a different issue. And whether or not his leg tightened up, Bobby, one of the things that happened in the first couple of warm-up tosses that he made, he was not real fluid in the release.
Right. And then you get concerned with maybe putting some strain on his shoulder, his elbow, and not so much the bruise itself on the leg, but what effect is that having on his throwing arm?
And Pana stays alive.
Well, you must have been having some fun early this season watching Mr. Kemp.
Well, and it's still having fun, and we've seen a lot of good players throughout Major League Baseball. He was the runner-up to the MVP last year. He's dedicated himself. He doesn't want to be just a good player. He wants to be one of the best players. And how do you do that? Well, it's not by reading the press clippings. And he works extremely hard. You know, we have a chance to see these ball players 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a 7 o'clock game. And Matt Kemp is right there, and he's working on things. But, Bobby, he's got such terrific power. He doesn't have to pull the ball. He goes the opposite way. Only one of his home runs has really been to left field so far.
2-2. And another foul by Campana.
Well, we know how tough it is to hit home runs at Dodger Stadium at night, and I know some of his have gone to dead center field, and man, that's impressive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, and we're seeing ball clubs. I mean, you guys, Mahalam to begin with, one of the few guys that has really pitched him inside. We've seen a lot of clubs that have tried to go away, and he continues to hit it the other way with some authority.
Full count. Trying to figure out, Rick, who's faster, Tony Campana or D. Gordon?
Well, I don't know, but it would be a good race to watch, and I want to make sure we all get a good seat when that takes place.
And ball 4. You see a chance here for Campana to run. Well, the Dodgers under new ownership, and looked like you had President and CEO Stan Kasten in your booth.
We had Stan with us. It's kind of an interesting story. Bobby, I know you were talking with Stan on the field a little bit earlier today, but it's one of those things. Stan works the room. He cannot sit still. And this has been a 6-month-long process, and it's only as of last Wednesday that Stan can talk about this entire process. And he said that was the hardest part of this entire deal, remaining silent about the group that was trying to get together, purchase the ball club. And when they talked about tradition and they talked about development, you keep in mind that's exactly what Kasten did.
Campana, good jump, but he is out. A.J. Ellis has had quite a year back there, and he gets one of the fastest guys in the league. That's the 3rd time Campana's been caught in his entire career.
Yeah, Ellis gets rid of it in a hurry. He's worked with Steve Yeager really on the footwork and the release, and a good throw by Ellis. But talking about Kasten, he had that such great track record, the 14 consecutive pennants with the Atlanta Braves, and that was over development, it was over scouting, it was over international relations, and now, in fact, there's quite a few members of the ownership group with the Dodgers that are currently here in this ballpark, and they're kind of scattered around a little bit.
0-2 to Castro. It almost got his back foot.
Can I take a moment and say something?
Of course.
For me, it is always wonderful to come back into this ballpark. I called Chicago home for 5 years, and both of my children were born here in this town. It is a great town to play in. It's a great town to live in. And when you are involved in sports, this can be considered kind of the mecca of sports. But there's so many great memories and still friends you come in here. There's something special about coming to this ballpark, beginning to see the vendors arrive and the people lining up, and the entire Wrigleyville area begin to breathe, to inhale and exhale, and then there's a ball game. This is just a terrific venue.
And the only day game in baseball when Cubs host a Friday game here. You can enjoy a nice meal in downtown Chicago while the rest of baseball is working. And you're right, there's no place quite like it, Rick.
And you also have to accept the challenge that if you're playing day games, you realize that, that Neon League can really beat you up even more so than the National League if you're not really cognizant of that fact.
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of hoping that you guys were here for the off day yesterday. We were kind of hoping maybe you took some of the boys out and showed them the city.
Gordon just slowed that ball down. It'll be a hit for Castro. A one-out single. Speaking of old friends, you paid homage to the late Jack Brickhouse. A little hey at the end of the 7th inning stretch. And we sit here in a booth Harry Carey made famous, and all the games on back when you were a Cub, and they were all day games here at Wrigley Field. Well, nothing under the lights.
It's kind of funny because my broadcast partner on the radio side, Charlie Steiner, asked me a minute ago. He said, "Well, you were here, you played all day games, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, night games are a little difficult to play here because you couldn't see the ball real well. There were no lights."
I'm sure you played a few, though. Those late afternoon starts that got right up against dusk.
You know where you could tell the difference? You've been down in the dugout, Bob, and you understand. When you can look out in center field, and in that day game, it was prior to the lights, when you could begin to read the menu on the signs out in the concession area in center field, you knew it was getting real dark, and you always were hoping it was part of the lineup that did not include you at the moment.
Yeah, my memories, Rick, were seeing big Lee Arthur Smith mosey down to that bullpen in the 7th or 8th inning, and it just kept getting darker and darker. And,
as the shadows went out,
you look at the lineup card and you start counting ahead. Oh man, I'm going to get him in the 9th. And Lee would go out there to the mound just firing BBs in the dusk.
But when you can look out into center field or into the either one of the bleacher areas, and you could see very well and distinctly the illumination of an exit sign, and it was a day game, it was not a real good indication that it was going to be an offensive threat.
1-2 on LaHare. You had such an interesting career, Rick. The first ever draft pick in the first ever draft in 1965. You saved the American flag as a Cub at Dodger Stadium. You hit the big home run in Montreal in Game 5 of the 1981 NLCS, but this is one everybody keeps coming back to.
Well, it was a Sunday afternoon, and these two people ran on the field and began to douse the flag with lighter fluid. It angered me, and I figured, okay, the match blew the first, or the wind blew the first match out. They could not light it without having it, and took it away. They threw the can of lighter fluid at me, but that very flag, my wife Barbara Lee and I have been able to take it around the country, and we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for military families, for military charities. In fact, we're going to have a meeting with the Cubs about some way to figure out to do it. The flag has not been back to Wrigley Field since the day I was presented with the flag, roughly a month after the event took place and the court case took place. So something that we are talking about, and we feel very proud about the fact that we take something that represents it's a symbol of our freedoms and our rights in this great country of ours, and to take this flag around and to be able to raise some good charitable money and put it to the right place.
April 25th, 1976, and you were in the Marine Corps Reserves too, so I know it's very important to you. There's a base hit as LaHare keeps his hitting streak alive. He's 1 for 4.
I joked about one of the reasons it was also incentive to pick that flag up. I did not want any of my drill instructors from boot camp in the Marine Corps to knock on my door and say, "Let me ask you a question. Why did you allow those two people to burn the symbol of our country?" I did not want that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Don Mattingly, and he is going to make a change. So we'll have the Honda call to the pen. Rick, we know you're also working today, so we'll let you get back to Charlie Steiner in the radio booth. Here comes Todd Coffey.
And let's hope the parachute deploys. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Rick.